still agree with it?
Yay!
Take it off!
Free bird. Wait, no, wait, my husband's here.
I'm just going to introduce the panel to everybody.
Yes, hi everyone. Thank you so much for coming. So we have some of our esteemed voice actors here today. We have Danielle McRae, who is your comedy enlightened one in League of Legends, in Painwheel, in Skullgirls. And we have Carlos Ferro, who is the beloved Don Santiago from Gears of War 1, 2, 3.
Oh yeah.
And also Leonardo da Vinci in the Assassin's Creed franchise.
Oh yes.
And
Guys, good.
then we have Rachel
Guys,
Robinson.
really good.
Then we have, oh boy.
Way to ruin my intro.
Then we have Rachel Robinson, who is the beloved Fang. From, yes, she is hot. Fang from Final Fantasy 13, 1 and 2.
I'd fuck her.
And then Amanda Winn Lee, who was Rey in Evangelion. She also directed some of the Evangelion movies and been doing anime for quite a while. So,
Thanks. Good night.
so that's just a brief intro because there's just too much awesomeness to remember and keep in my brain this early in the morning. So,
To read more about us.
yeah, to read more about them, go to the program book, the ConnectiCon website. So we'll open, unless you guys have anything you just want to say off the bat, we can open up for questions.
I like questions.
You like pie? I like pie too.
Yeah, this Joe Cirillo, GameAccess.net. I just have a question for Carlos in particular. Are you doing the new Gears of War game?
The answer that I can give to that, all on the record and stuff, is Cliff Bleszinski was asked on Twitter. He was asked, "Are Marcus and Dom in Judgment?" And his response was, "Nope."
Oh.
I didn't understand that.
So that's the answer I'm giving. I mean, I've had to, as you guys can imagine, I've had to repeat that over and over again on Twitter. I'm like, Cliff said, but the thing is as you know, with gamers, don't do that, Rob. As you know, in games, these things, you know, I'm not saying they can change or will change, but you know, it's such a crazy, the technology, we're still keeping up with it, and you never know with DLCs, you never know with, you know, portable devices, with, you know, arcade games. I think that definitely the trilogy is over, the story of Delta Squad is over, but that's not to say that in the future, I mean, look, 8 months later, we know that you're going to know all about Barry and Cole babies, you know what I mean? So who knows when you'll see Dom again, but according to Cliff, not in Judgment.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you all for coming. Good night.
This is a question for Amanda. We're from Senpai Magazine, and you mock my technological skill.
I am so technologically retarded, and I know that's not a PC word, but seriously, like, my husband is this amazing technological whiz, and he'll just go off and off and off, and I'll just be like, I can check email. So, I'm with you, sister. It's all good.
Thank you. I purposely didn't buy a smartphone because I knew I'd sit on it.
Done that. Updated my Facebook status once entirely with my ass.
Yes.
Yes.
Did you find it difficult at all to convey the emotion you were looking for when voicing Rei Ayanami, given her natural monotone and quiet cadence?
Oh God, when I did the voice of Rey, I get into a very scary little corner of my head. I sort of tap into that like awkward 14-year-old, oh my God, I look like such a dork, everyone hates me, that everyone has, whether they admit it or not. There would be times like we'd be in the middle of recording. There was this one episode, it was just her monologue, I am the I that is I, blah, blah, blah. I mean, just random, you know, stream of thought stuff. At one point, I was like, all right, you know what, we've got to take a pause. Can someone please tell me a joke? Because I'm about to go throw myself in front of a bus. This is just depressing. So, I mean, all of my characters are aspects of me. Yukiko, Persona 4, she was the very, very small part of me that wanted to do well in high school. Unfortunately, the rest of me overruled that part. Yeah, all of my characters are a bit of me.
Just, if you don't mind, if it's related, we were wondering, did you prefer voicing more quiet and introverted characters, or dynamic and loud characters like Riley, Vincent, Gunsmith Cats?
God, I loved Raleigh. Gotta love a girl with a gun. I love all of my characters. I embrace all of my characters and give them my whole heart because I found that if you don't, especially in anime, it comes through in your voice. You can hear it. You can hear when some actors are mocking their characters rather than genuinely portraying them. And it's like I understand that anime is big and bright and pretty and sometimes, you know, and sometimes it's over the top and go for it. But when it needs to be real, you can't stay up here like, oh wow, I'm so talented, look at me go. No, you've got to do your homework, you've got to do the role. So my answer is maybe.
Open it up to more questions. Over there in the end.
This is going out to Carlos. What would you, just in light of the fact that there's so many military-based first-person, third-person shooters out there, what would you base the success of the Gears of War franchise on?
Well, I would say that for each game, there's been different reasons. I think, like the first game, right out of the gate, became the flagship game of the Xbox 360, and everybody wanted a big game with amazing cutscenes and new kinds of multiplayer. And by today's standards, it's kind of primitive, really, because every game has a horde mode and things like that. That came out in 2, but again, 2 stepped it up. I think that there is definitely something to the military games because everybody likes to shoot shit.
Kids like load shit up.
But I like to think that Gears of War, whether people think that it succeeded or failed at its storytelling, because I see everything that is on the interwebs. And people talk about good storytelling, bad storytelling. I like the idea of at least trying to step it up. And 2, they try to flesh out the characters more, make the universe a little broader with comics, books. If you dig the universe and you're into the story of Marcus Phoenix and Delta Squad, I think that the success is that it doesn't disappoint its fans. And by 3, it actually took a stab at putting a period on the story, ending it. And I think that's pretty brave and cool if you don't want things to go out when they're terrible and boring and derivative. So I think that yeah, Gears of War, they've tried to kind of do something unique, but with, like I was saying before, everybody's trying to do something unique, and they all end up using the same engine, the Unreal Engine or something. So yeah, man, that's it. I would say that they tried every game to kind of step it up.
This is for everybody. How did you guys fall into voice acting? Was it somebody that just heard you?
We just
and
fell
you guys
into
didn't?
I fucking stand-up comic. My husband was a stand-up comic. He was good friends with Rob Mungle, who was the very first guy Double Target when ADV back was ADV. And he, we were just struggling actress and actor in Houston, and Rob said just like, you got to check this stuff out. And we were just like, okay, whatever, paycheck. So I go to audition, and my first audition, I'm sitting in the room with Matt, and it was the original Birdo. And he shows me the scene where they borrow a tank and storm the castle. And so he's showing me the scene, and I'm just going, that is so cool! And he was like, okay, you want to try to read? I'm like, shh! Oh, did you see that? Oh my God! I mean, I was there. I was absolutely into it. So that's how I started, and it just sort of snowballed from there.
I grew up watching Looney Tunes and Hanna-Barbera and Filmation and Rankin Bass and all that, and I was always just a natural mimic. I just walked around reciting lines, and it was like, well, it's kind of annoying, but maybe you could parlay that into something someday. And so when...
And it worked.
And it, well, hopefully, and that's how it happened. I got a chance to sit in and audit a class with Larry Moss, who's one of the best dialect coaches in the world, and it was really fascinating. And actually, when he started to break down how you do dialects and accents, it wasn't just about mimicking characters. I mean, there's just a whole lot more to it. And took a break and did things like live in Colorado and skied and all that. And I was like, it's probably not going to get me very far in voiceover. So I came home and just started.
But you're a great skier.
I'm a fantastic skier. So,
That was worth it.
And I recite movie lines when I go down the hill. And I just started doing my homework, and I started studying with Nancy Wolfson and Pat Fraley and Bob Bergen, and you just, kind of going in the so-called normal way when you get into classes. And that way, I'm not here.
No, it's like totally me.
But yeah, that's pretty much it.
I got into it through, because I was a kid, I loved cartoons a lot, so I watched Thundercats and Silverhawks and all that. I
Yeah, whole
really,
room's like, what's that?
yeah, exactly.
Except for
I know.
Yeah. So I got into it through there, and then strangely, I wanted to get into voiceover strangely from a show called Charles in Charge. Really interesting.
Charles in charge of my days
I don't know how that
and my
happened.
nights.
I don't know how that happened, but it did. So then I started doing things online, and that led to me trying to pursue a career in voiceover. So I started taking classes. I did one with Bridget Burdine, and then I did one with Tony Oliver from Bang Zoom, and then started getting it from there. Pretty cool.
Charles in Charge, man.
That
I was
an
watching Three's
interesting
Company
way-
once.
Thanks, Scott Bale, for my career.
Episodes where something went horribly wrong.
Yeah.
Yes.
Weird.
That's usually how all of our
misunderstanding.
stories pretty much ended. Something went horribly wrong and I ended up voice
Some
acting.
kind of misunderstanding.
I got locked in a closet with a microphone. When I was 4.
Mine wasn't, I didn't fall into it. I went to school and grad school for acting, and voiceover became a natural progression of on camera. And I'm a fan of geek culture, and cartoons and games, and I'm a fan. I'd be in the scenes right now if I could be. I dig what they do, and I wanted to do that too. So when anything would, I hate saying come across my desk because that doesn't happen. You know, that's what it's like when you get an audition.
I don't really have a desk.
I don't have a desk either. But when I'd see stuff that had the words Batman on it, anything like that, I'd be like, I want in, And that I guess is the closest to falling into it, that I pursued stuff that I enjoyed. If it was a Justice League script, I'm like, I want to work on that. And you find out what it takes. So, Other question, please.
Questions?
Yeah, this is for Rachel. What was it like working on a successful franchise like Final Fantasy and being Fang?
It was pretty amazing because
Good night.
I'm taking you all out for steak dinner.
All right. Water for everyone on me.
That's right. I had read for tons of video games, and I had maybe a few things here and there that were, kind of just came and went. But this was, getting a major character, major playable character in such a huge, beloved franchise was like, wow, this is not only very cool, but it's also kind of a big responsibility because people take it seriously and they love it, and people pay attention to detail. But what I really liked was that she definitely seemed to be different than any of the other female characters they'd ever had. So, what I do know, and a lot of you probably know this, that she was originally supposed to be a man, and they wanted to balance the party out a little bit. and luckily that worked out really nicely for me. It was great, and also because I am one of my focuses, okay, is accents and dialects. So I got to be Australian for 6 months, which was great. And I managed to even fool some Australians. I fooled, I think, more Americans than Australians. There were,
Let's not get
she
there.
sounds like Steve Irwin. I'm like, that's your only Australian reference. But it was awesome. I had so much fun, and she's continued to be really good to me for however many years it's been out. But
I will chime in about Rachel. We've worked together and known each other a long time. And this is my 4th year at ConnectiCon, and it's her 3rd year. And I talked to her her first year to come to the show. And
you called me randomly one day in February, and I was in Virginia.
And she
like,
was fresh off of Final Fantasy, and I said, "This is the show. You got to come to this show, and it'll be a big deal. That Fang is." She's like, "Really?" And when you're saying the responsibility, I'll never forget the first time she went into a Fang cosplayer. She just got like blindsided. Like they knew who she was. These 2 women came up, and again,
There was
we've
it was
done
a
lot of
snow,
cons,
it was a
I've done
snow
lot
and
of
a
cons.
light.
So when you do a lot of these sorts of things, you see someone dressed like Ash, and it's not a big deal. You just like, But she is not used to that, and so Faye comes up and she goes, Jesus Christ!
You remember this?
It was awesome. It was awesome, and I'm like, see?
It was, and and I'm always happy and thrilled, but the response, I was like, oh God, don't cry, please. I don't want to be responsible for your,
That's what I was thinking about, the responsibility, yeah. So that is the cool part of the job.
It's like, it's okay, I'm a person, and I promise you,
I would say I'm not that important. I
I'm
promise.
not. It's like
I'm in a padded room making funny noises. That's it.
And I probably got a speeding ticket last week.
But should we take another question? Right over here.
Hi, this is a question for Carlos. I was wondering, could you give us a little bit of insight in how the Epic team, you, the voice actors, the engineers, all feel towards like the Halo franchise. Do you guys like, do you guys compete for it like as the flagship title of the Xbox brand, or do you guys like feel like you're working together to build up this brand?
We all hold hands. I worked on the Halo Reach trailer, and I voiced what would become Carter, who was the lead of Reach. And you know, Xbox is funny, you know, and Microsoft is funny in that they have these successful franchises, and you think that they would, you know, be like one happy family, but there is competition, definitely, and they do sort of, you know, I think it's healthy competition where they're talking about somebody having, don't do that.
Freaking saw you.
Where you know, they find out who's doing what that's new and exciting. Don't. So, I'm just playing these guys. I'm not a dick. So,
That remains to be seen.
yeah, but no, it's healthy competition, but at the same time, you know, when we're promoting the games, it's exciting, man. Like at this show, isn't from Call of Duty, isn't he going to be here?
James C. Burns, after E3, and they announced it, they basically are using the whole campaign around his character, so he's had to go into the studio for the next month or so, and he's unable to attend this year because of professional obligations.
Well, I met him on the Spike Awards, Video Game Awards red carpet, and they did this bit where they're like, oh, you know, Call of Duty meets Gears of War, and we were just like, hi. You know what I mean? Like you know, it's not like I don't know what they expected. Like I was gonna go, fuck you, man. You know what I mean? Like, and it was just, you know, we're all colleagues. We're all in the same industry, and we dig what we do. We're fans of each other's work. I get excited to see a trailer with Master Chief as much as I do. Well, not as much, but you know, it's exciting to see new stuff like Halo 4. It's exciting. What are you thinking about? All right, good. Just wait till you talk. Anyway, so it's a healthy kind of competition. Next question.
Got time for one more question. Somebody who hasn't asked a question, right over here.
Yeah, Patrick Delahanty from AnimeCons.com, and this question is for Amanda. You've been attending conventions for around 14 years.
Say that out loud! God damn it!
And I was wondering how they've changed over the years.
Back in my day, we walked up a hill, both ways in the snow, like carry one.
VHS has just been invented.
It's interesting. When I first started out, it was really more of like a fringe element, and now it is much more mainstream. Unfortunately, with that has come some of the fans have been getting a lot more aggressive. To be honest, they act.
What does that mean?
Well, they act like we.
Hi.
Yes, exactly. I'm not playing with your face. Well, I mean, it's one thing, like, I love meeting fans. Like I said, again, without them, we're just dorks in a padded room making funny noises. But I don't like having my privacy infringed upon. And they act, and some people, yeah, awesome. I mean, find someone in your shower, like, over me. And when, like I said, the fans are a little more aggressive these days. Sometimes some of them act like we owe them something. And it's like, I'm so incredibly flattered that you like my stuff, and I'm so glad that it brings you so much great joy, but I have enough friends. I'm good. I don't need a new best friend. Thanks. You know,
way to bring the room down, man.
I'm
sorry, but
there's professional courtesy and boundaries that sometimes get infringed upon, and there's sort of like a general blurring of, you know, how familiar can you be with someone who, I guess, years work you admire and I appreciate you to hear, but if you really don't know someone, there's voice actors who I've known and even worked with and socialized with, that even then I try to maintain a certain amount of professional
I mean, when you're walking down the hallway,
I'm great friends with them.
Yeah, if you're walking down the hallway and someone grabs your arm and says, you have to sign this, no, I don't. Fuck you. You gotta sign this first. That's going on someone's cover, isn't it? Jesus. But I love doing cons. I mean, I had to stop for several years, but I'm back again. I think I might, with a vengeance. I think I might still be like permanently banned from some of the cons for my excessive guest behavior.
Oh, really?
That's a glorious.
Yeah, talk to ASAD. Yeah, they don't like me. But
Oh,
It's great to
Amanda,
be
I'm in
back.
room 1324. That's not my room. Next question.
What?
We're
Yeah, no, so did I answer a question or did I just babble on for a while? You're good? Okay.
Do you guys want to each say one last closing thing? We gotta move along.
All right.
We're behind schedule.
Thanks for coming out. This is my favorite show in the country, and I go to all of them, and some are bigger than others. But the passion that even the media, the press, that all you guys have, you guys know what you're talking about, and that means a lot to us. That you guys give a shit that we're up here. So thanks for coming out.
And also, as much as I love Fang, I do actually have some projects coming out soon. One is a major anime series that I'm still looking to talk about, but it should be coming out soon. And another animated series and another game coming out at the end of the year. So keep your eyes peeled, keep your ears open. I think that's going to be appropriate.
Yeah, it's my very first time here, so I'm looking to have lots of fun. I also have projects that I can't talk about.
Isn't that great for the press?
Yeah.
It's amazing! I can't tell you a word about
No,
it.
seriously.
Believe me,
It
way more
hurts.
than it hurts.
It hurts, but yeah.
My least favorite initials, NBA.
Yeah, that's the best friend.
So I've got the Persona 4 stuff coming out, the anime and the game, and then I'm really, really excited about this game called Revolution 60 that's coming out next summer. It's an iOS platform, and it's insane. It's fantastic. If you go to my Facebook fan page, they've sent me like clips of animation and things that I can post on there. It's awesome. I mean, I'm a cyborg who wears lingerie who kicks ass. I mean, what more could you possibly ask for in a video game character?
Ever.
Yeah, right? In fact, when I was young, and they said, Amanda, what do you want to be when you grow up? I said, I want to be a lingerie wearing cyborg who kicks ass. And then they sent me to the
Well, since we're plugging.
But after many years of therapy, basically just thanks for putting up with us. You guys are awesome, and we're going to have so much fun this weekend.
This is going to be a great weekend.
And my own personal motto, if life were easy, there wouldn't be so many dead people, so don't take it so damn seriously.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Hey.